A very good day to everyone watching. I am Abhinav Ashutosh, back with another video, and this time my project is going to be me showing you my home page. So as soon as you open the website, this is the section of the website that is displayed. On the left hand side of this section, I have all about myself, and on the right hand side, you can see me standing with three of my cousins. And right below this image are the links to my Instagram, GitHub, and X, formerly Twitter. And this Gmail icon is actually a button that copies my email address to your clipboard. Now, using these four arrows right here, you can navigate to the different sections of this web page. The right section contains all about my lead code profile, at least the information I think is relevant. And since I only use lead code as a measure of my progress in DSA, for now, this page has the relevant stats for the same. On the left hand side, I have the questions completed per level of difficulty, along with the number and a progress bar, which, to be honest, isn't very impressive. But on the right hand side, not a bad contest rating for only one contest, would you not say that? On the left hand side, there is a list of my projects in order of completion, the latest being the first. And I've also implemented this progress bar right here for the scroll function, which you can see moves based on the amount I scroll. And these Polaroid-esque placards of the projects contain the GitHub to these projects, which contain the code as well as the links to the hosted projects. So for example, if I click on this battleship placard, it redirects me to the GitHub repository containing the project. In the upper section of the website, you can see my tech stack, basically all the technologies I use on a regular basis. I had no idea how to include them, so I just did a flexbox with a slow heartbeat-esque animation, as you can see right here. If you have any ideas about this tech stack section, please tell me because all of us can clearly see that this is a little lazily made, to say the least. On the right hand side, however, I have a work philosophy section, if that makes sense. And this section would be the most serious section on the entire web page. And as it says, I'm going to update it over time based on how I learn or what I learn. And that's pretty much all there is to it on this section. The bottom section of the website, the final one, is the me section. So it's somewhat like a blog section and will be updated once every week. On the left hand side, you have my latest YouTube video, a joke of the week section, which will hopefully improve as I write more jokes. I don't know. And an upcoming section, which is a secret for now. I'm currently working on something, but I don't know how far I'll go with it. So best to keep it hidden until I can see that I'm progressing in it. The first special feature I implemented was the responsiveness of the page. That is the way everything resizes and changes alignment based on the viewport dimensions. So let me demonstrate something. So this is basically how this website is going to look on a wide screen. Now, the moment I switch the dimensions of the viewport and change it to somewhat similar to the viewport of an Android, this is what's going to happen to the home page. This is what's going to happen to the front section. On the left hand side, this is what happened to the projects section. And the bottom section, which was earlier more of a grid with three sections, has now just turned into a single scrollable section. The next feature that I implemented, which would be quite obvious by now, is the navigation feature, which you can see when the website transitions to a different section. So for example, I am in the bottom section right now, and if I want to go to the front section, I just click here on this arrow, and we move to the front section. Now, what makes this feature so special is that CSS does not have any direct properties to make these transitions possible. So what I had to do was to create a three-dimensional structure using 3D transforms and build on that to give this 3D rotate in effect or rotate out effect. So let's see a little demonstration of the same. So the version of the website that is in front of you right now is the locally hosted website. Now, if I change the opacity of all the other pages to back to 1, this is what happens. And here you can clearly see all these sections right here. And based upon the navigation button I click, this entire cube rotates. And this is exactly how you see different pages of this web page. So essentially, all the transitions that you see is basically a large cube rotating across your web page. The last special feature I implemented was to get my live lead code profile information, which was done with a very simple API call to the alfa-leetcode-api. Now, I don't know a lot about backend currently, but in the future, when I'm more well versed with it, I'll certainly develop my own API for this purpose. But for now, this is pretty much it. Now, let's talk about the challenges that I faced. So I have worked with APIs and responsive designs before this project, so they did not pose so much of a challenge as they did the first time I implemented them. However, as you would have guessed by now, the transitioning effect that had to be created by creating an actual three-dimensional object in HTML was a bit of a challenge, mainly because I hadn't done anything like this before. But I feel like it won't be much of a challenge doing similar things moving on because I already have some experience in doing that. The other challenge, which isn't so much of a challenge than it is a bug, was to get the scroll function to work on iPhones, which still is an issue. The issue is that each section of the website, except for the front section, that is this main section, is responsive to all touches, but not to the scroll action. So, for instance, if I were to open this section of the website on an iPhone and scroll it, it just won't happen. I could click on the placards and open the GitHub repositories for these projects, but the scroll just won't happen. And what's unique about this issue is that this only occurs in iPhones, not in Android, not in Mac, Windows, or Linux, nowhere. I have tried fixing this issue, but to no avail. In a few threads, it was mentioned that it's an iOS specific bug, but if you have any suggestions on how this can be fixed, please let me know. I'll leave the links to the GitHub repository and the hosted website in the description. You can leave a star on the repository if you like it. If you have any suggestions on the projects, additions, modifications, whatever, please leave them in the comments. I promise I'll implement at least some of them. If you like the video, which is highly unlikely, but if you did, please give it a like and subscribe if you want. And that's it from my side. Bye.